Fender guitars have been in my life ever since the day I knew I wanted to play music, or even before really. The very first guitar I ever picked up and held in my hands was a Fender guitar that was my dad's. And he had that since the 70s, it's acoustic, which I still have now. Every guitarist that influenced me and changed what I wanted to do and influenced the way I play guitar and the sounds I wanted to make. You know, I looked at these iconic images of these guitarists, these photos, in these album covers and in magazines, and you know, they pretty much all had a Fender in their hands. Anyone who knows me would know that if I sort of had to list the most influential guitarists of my life, the people who really shaped me and changed me as a musician, you know, it would go back to maybe Mark Knopfler probably being the first, just because my dad listened to so much Dire Straits, and whether you like the band or not, Mark Knopfler's one of the most amazing guitarists out there. Then for me, finding my own way, you know, you look for Joe Strummer from The Clash, Elvis Costello, Dave Gilmour from Pink Floyd, and then from there I went to Sonic Youth. You know, Thurston Moore and Lee Ronaldo were playing Fenders. Mike McCready from Pearl Jam, he always had a Fender in his hands. My favourite Fender guitar for years, the one I craved and wanted more than anything, was Frank Zappa had this sort of yellow Strat, which was really weird. Twin humbucker, Floyd Rose, locking nut, and then obviously people like Ritchie Blackmore from Deep Purple. So Fender's one of those things that's always been there for me, and all the guitarists I looked up to, you know, had these amazing guitars in their hands. It was a while before I got my first Fender. Obviously I had my dad's one, his acoustic, to play, which when he died, you know, I now have that in my collection here. I remember getting a Squier Stratocaster. It was a Japanese one, maybe 93 I got that. It's sort of like a really off creamy white Squier. And then I got my first proper Fenders, you know. Had a couple of Mexican Strats, had a couple of USA Strats. I recently got my blue Mexican back, actually, that my brother had for a while. And Fender is just a love affair forever, you know. Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins, another huge influence on me, on my playing. Jay Mascis from Dinosaur Jr., John Frusciante from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And these are people that made me play the way I play today, you know, even to the point that I stole bits of their riffs and stole solos and lead lines, just, you know, to try to make that sound my own. Then when I started getting more into the heavy metal side of things, you know, you start looking at what guitars you need for that, and sometimes a Stratocaster doesn't cut it unless you're in Iron Maiden. So you start looking at these Jacksons and you know, early memories. I remember Kirk Hammett from Metallica had this Randy Rhoads Jackson. Obviously Dave Mustaine had the King V's. I remember Andreas Kisser from Sepultura. He had this really cool, I think it was a Jackson King V, but he also had this Charvel covered in stickers and beat the crap out of. And then obviously Randy Rhoads, you know, himself. So to say that I'm excited and happy to be part of this Fender family is an understatement. It's, you know, it seems like the most natural thing in the world for me to pick up a Fender and put that in my hands, because they're the guitars I've loved since I was 9 or 10 years old, and sitting there looking at the cover of London Calling by The Clash and seeing Paul Simon smashing up a Fender bass, or looking at old videos of Elvis Costello and the Attractions, and he's got that Jazzmaster. It's Fender all the way, really. You know, I love him. I couldn't be happier. So, you know, thank you so much to Sam at Fender and for taking a chance on me and you know, bringing me into the Fender and Jackson fold. It means everything. I can't wait to get more guitars.
Bring out the blaze, matches the wall.